You know what time it is. You know what time it is.
How firm thy friendship. Oh,
you know what time it is. Raw with them boys of the fall. You know what time it is. On the ground with a nose for the ball. You know what time it is. Blood, sweat, and them tears for this game. Leaving it all out on the field with no fear for you lames. Buckeyes by a billion. We in the building with over 100,000. We represent from the uttermost to the public housing. If we don't play, our wide receivers got your secondary shook, so they cook them like Bobby Flay. Hey, stay out of my way and trust me, cause I know it's OH. Somebody please give this brother an IO. Come on.
What up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Buckeye Boys, where we talk about college football with real fans. I'm Devin. That's Mello.
Yes, sir.
Excited to be here on a blessed Sunday, man. How are you doing, Mello?
Absolutely. Having a good day. How about yourself, brother?
Doing good, man. Did a little bike ride today, a little swimming in a swimming hole. Nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy. My day was going real good, man, until something happened. And I'm okay. Everything's going to be okay, but we'll dive into it, man, with the Buckeyes and recruiting. We'll talk about Jamir Perez committing to Florida. He was like one of my favorite D linemen in the class. We'll talk about some issues. Love to talk about issues with the team up north and their NIL funds, right? Dive into a little bit of the defensive line recruiting. Talk about a new quarterback offer that went out. And then also an offensive tackle that's picking up some heat with the Buckeyes as well. So how are we going to navigate this class with all these offensive linemen that we're in on? But shoot, man, chat, we appreciate you guys showing up, man. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you already haven't. Share this feed on your X account. Please, Instagram, the whole 9 yards. Become a member if you would. Help support this channel. We give everything back to this channel. We give away tickets, different things like that. Super chats are always open as well. So let's dive right into it, man. Now, here's what we're going to do. Let's dive into the team up north struggles. Get that out of the way. And, you know, I just want to talk about this logically for a second, because we're going to get a lot of, oh, they're our rival, they're just hating, 13. We're going to get all that stuff. But let's logically just talk about this for a second, right? We're not about to debate whether they did or did not cheat, okay? We know that they did, but let's talk about, yo, what up, Jamir?
What up, JJ?
For sure, man. We're still going to try to get him on this show, have an interview with him and see what's up with him. But so team up north, right? Whether they did or didn't, they're still in the news for all these things, right? Matt Weiss, the show causes and everything like that. If you're a donor to this football team, you're donating, right, to help a team win.
Right.
And even if you think there might be a chance that there's going to be all these sanctions and everything else, are you going to give your money to that team? And if you're a big time prominent, businessman or something like that, do you want to be connected to a football program that has all these scandals and Matt Weiss and, meeting under it, all this stuff, man? Do you even want to be connected to it?
I personally wouldn't. It's a cesspool up there right now. What's going on is tragic. A lot of people have been hurt by everything, and it's not just with the scandal of advanced scouting, but also the computer hacking. We're in a group right now on X, and there's a guy in the group that we're in, Dev, that the FBI contacted him because his wife was an athlete and she was a victim of Matt Weiss. So this is hurting real people. This is not a faceless crime. This is egregious. And of course, you see the president, Ono, after saying bet we're going to have Jim Harbaugh's back, didn't do anything that he said. He left. There's also other issues outside of just the football and athletic program. Like, it has to be terrible if you're a Team Up North alum at this point. So no, as a businessman, no, I wouldn't invest anything until all this is cleared up. Go ahead and burn it down. And then, yeah, there's a lot of people with money that will support the Team Up North. But I don't think they're going to see that funding until after these punishments happen.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a minute. And I think, not just Scum, but these other teams that are used to buying players, and we got this cap coming into play, or whatever you want to call it, with the NCAA. That's also another factor in this. It's making teams have to scramble. You're watching Oregon not get some of the commits they normally would get. You're not going to be able to do that anymore. And Scum, they were like, they wanted to be relevant so bad that last year they went out and strictly just bought players. Like, that's legit what they did. That's not a secret. That's what they did. So, we'll see what happens there. If they're able to get things, kind of figured out with the players on the team, what players leave, what players stay, we will see. Because, little side note, man, there's this thing going on out there that, Sharon Moore, head coach, has to get fired for these players to leave. Not true at all. If the NCAA applies sanctions to a college team, players can then leave. Now, there's certain sanctions there, but they're literally all these sanctions that we're talking about here: scholarship reductions, postseason bans, different things like that will automatically make their entire roster eligible to transfer out. Can you imagine that, dude?
That would be crazy. I mean, you might as well just burn it all down to the bones and rebuild it, Yeah. It's going to take a while, but that's the only way to do this properly. If the team up north wants to sustain constant success year in and year out and not just randomly, you have to burn it down and rebuild.
I completely agree. Hearings coming up. It's going to be that time that they need to just accept what comes their way and let it go and start rebuilding. They're wasting a lot of time at this point in time. And if you're a fan of that team, I advise you to stop listening to your media. They're just setting you up for just an epic, letdown. So, Mel, you got a question in the chat here, man. How was the Grayson Spring game?
Okay, so I'm sorry. I did not upload the videos. That was my fault. I've been kind of busy. I will have them uploaded before our show tomorrow or Tuesday. I'll talk to Dev about it. But basically, they didn't play another high school team yet. They played, it was like an inter-squad scrimmage. They were hitting. Obviously, the quarterbacks weren't live. It kind of reminded me a little bit of our spring game, but on a lower level. But Tyler Atkinson is a freak show, period. My opinion hasn't changed about him and what I think. He's worth every penny that he's going to get wherever he goes. I think he'll be in Columbus, but we'll see, because a lot of the Georgia contingency was there. A lot of the Georgia beat writers were there, obviously, because they're right there. But I still believe that James Laurinaitis has the best relationship with him. I believe the combination of James Laurinaitis and Matty P is going to seal this thing. And then when they see the defense next year, he's going to want to come. So I'm not overly concerned about that. But if he doesn't come, I mean, whoever gets him is going to get a special player. That's all I could say. Ridiculous.
Another funny note about the team up north, man. I saw a couple posts from one of their boards that somebody shared on Twitter, and they're starting to worry about running back recruiting. It's kind of funny because, like, what do you mean running back? You got 2 commits in your class, or 3, or I don't know. You're ranked very low. But they're like, well, that Osborne guy committed. That was a big target Tony Alford had. And then their other offer is Savion Hyder, and they're asking on the board, starting to get a little worried. If we don't hit on Hyder, are there any backup plans there? And all the Buckeye Nation's like, oh, yeah, we get it. We understand. But speaking of backup plans, man, let's dive into it. This is the hot topic now. This kind of set a lot of those people that were teetering on
LJ.
Oh man, LJ. Yeah, that's wild. LJ and his recruiting process today with Jamir Perez, 3-star defensive tackle out of Glennville. Now, I just want to start me personally. This upsets me. This does worry me, right? Shout out Jamir in the chat against pretty
Had
cool.
To bring this back up.
Yeah, I watched when I watched his highlight film, I just got stoked, man. I got really pumped. I'm not somebody that is professional at breaking down film or whatnot, but the quickness of a 360-pound, 16, 17-year-old. I fell in love with him as a defensive tackle. And, we're not in on anybody else like him. We normally kind of you don't see us going after these type of players. So yes, on a personal, from a personal standpoint, this does make me very concerned with the defensive line, and it sucks really bad that he committed to Florida. I'm praying that he still takes his Ohio State visit. Now, let's get Devin the fan out of the way. Let's break this thing down. A lot of people keep talking about his rating and whatnot, how it's not a big deal. Go watch his film, right? Ratings, they don't mean anything, okay? Look at the offers and the schools that are coming after him, man. But it's early, right? I just fall back to the same thing. I just refuse to believe that after the changes because ultimately, if we don't sign a good defensive class, this falls back on Ryan Day. It's going to fall back on the head coach, right, to doing this. But we jumped the gun a little bit here, right? On first off, signing day is not here. So I believe, right, that Ohio State can still have a shot with him if he takes his official visit there. And if they really want him, and I believe they do, a lot of people are acting like they don't. I don't buy that whatsoever. They offered him and he didn't have to come to camp. Go watch this film. Ohio State wants this player. I promise you that. It's not over. If he does stay with his commitment towards Florida, then we're in on several other defensive tackles. And keep in mind, as a fan, even us, me and Mello, we have some inside sources on this team. I completely forgot what I was going to say.
You're talking about your sources and it's not being over. But while you think about it, I'll give my perspective if you want.
Please do. That was so wild, dude.
So honestly, with JJ, I don't think it's over. He said he committed because he felt at home. There's no place like home in Columbus. I still think he's going to take his OV. He will be coming on our pod. And as you saw, he commented in the chat already and said it's still all love to Buckeye Nation. So this is not over. Ohio State is going to put the full court press. I think we need him in the class. I don't want to go too deep because I want to ask him questions and not spoil it before. But with what I think we'll end up landing, I just want to present it to him and see how he feels fit there. Because let's just be honest, Florida's got to have a proof of concept. They still have to play the season out. Do I think they're a better team? Yes, because they have DJ Lagway. But if they're not producing on defense, I don't think there's any reason he doesn't need to leave home. His parents could come see every game. We just sent 4 D linemen, the entire starting defensive line into the draft. They all got drafted. So It's not over. I'm not overly concerned. And he's a kid. So that's where I'm at with it. And everyone knows LJ is like really late in his process when he's offering and putting on full court press. So let's see what happens. Let's see if he takes his OV. He's going to be on the show, so we'll talk to him. You guys could drop your questions in there directly. I do not think this was a money thing because I don't think Florida has more money than Ohio State, to be honest with you, quite frankly. But we'll see. We're going to talk to him.
Yeah, it's as a fan and even as us, this is what I was saying with the inside sources that we have, we still don't know everything about. There's got to be cultural fits. There's the family's got to fit. The whole thing has to happen here. So, we haven't talked to him to get to know who he is as a kid. I don't believe it's a money thing for a couple reasons. One, that Mello mentioned. Two, we've talked to a lot of recruits and they're not really talking money right now. A lot of schools aren't because they don't really know the limit that they have. So they're real careful with how they bring that up. I think this is a situation where he probably did feel at home. They killed the game. They stole our photo shoot thing from last year. Absolutely hilarious. Trying to come in and take the Buckeyes little photo shoot.
I blame you, Dev. But you know why? Because you got all buddy with the head coach over there at UF. And he was like, oh, he likes Ohio State. He talking about send DJ Lagway up to Columbus. So he's like, I'm going to steal something from Columbus. He going after Glennville now? Like, come on, man.
But yeah, by the way, Jamir, I had dinner with old Billy Napier. I might be going over there and remodel his bathroom. So if you do end up going to Florida, I might see you, man. You never know. But yeah, it's it's a long way to go. For those of you that are going to say that to me, I know we're going to get those comments. Relax. Listen, from an analyst of football and recruiting, I am relaxed. I'm not tripping. Long way to go. This is Ohio State. Ohio State, the Block O is bigger than any single player, any single coach, the whole 9 yards. But I'm a huge fan of him as a football player. That's why I am upset. So,
oh man, because you can't reproduce what he is. And then that's why I'm kind of upset a little bit, because who I think would be playing next to him would be ridiculous. So, yeah.
And if Ohio State wants him, I think they're going to stand a big chance. This was his first official visit he went on, and he committed. You can really get some juices flowing on an official visit, really be on a high, and you just don't know. You could feel like home, but you could feel more at home somewhere else. You don't know. But if there's any thing about the defensive line that I have less worries about, it is the defensive tackle position, to be honest. Deuce Gerald's heavy Buckeye lean. PJ Dean, heavy Buckeye lean. And I got a little nugget today about another player that's a big Buckeye lean that I was completely unaware. And this is what I'm talking about. I refuse to believe that Ryan Day will allow, this. I think this is Larry Johnson's style. I think they have a plan. And I think when we go to sign on signing day, I just have this awful feeling, this great feeling that Ohio State might be that team this year flipping some dudes if we don't sign them early, because we just won a national title. We got the NIL money to throw around and do it. And I know Ryan Day is focused on the trenches. Look what he did with the offensive line. He sees what we see, I promise. He can go. He knows the players on his team. He knows they need to get some impact player defensive linemen for next year and the year after. We got to. You can't go in the portal. You can't rely on the portal like that. But the other player that we're pretty big that we're in on is Emmanuel Ruffin out of Alabama. The number 118th player nationally, the number 19 defensive lineman, 6'4", 290. So there's some players that we're in a lot better positions for, just not being talked about much because of how Larry Johnson approaches the recruiting process. He's not that kind of, he's more of a Justin Fry type of style, right? I know that might scare a lot of people, but the difference is this is Larry Johnson we're talking about. Let's put 4 defensive linemen in the NFL, and this is Ohio State. So, we're in on those guys, and it has to be a wait and see. Nobody can really say anything. Oh my gosh, Larry, what are you doing? Trust me, I get it. The fan in me does feel those fears and whatnot, but the reality, the truth is, it's not signing day yet. We got Matt Patricia, right, as our defensive coordinator. That has to be intriguing to defensive players. It has to be, and I just refuse to believe that, Larry Johnson and this negative recruiting is going to stop Ohio State from getting good defensive linemen. I mean, look at defensive linemen at Ohio State. I just feel like you shouldn't even need a recruiter, and you can land a couple good defensive linemen. So it's just, I refuse to believe that we're not going to come out of this class with a couple studs on the defensive line. Mello?
Absolutely. I agree 100%. I basically hit that on the head. I wanted to answer this.
No, my bad. Did I just pull
No,
yours
you're
down?
good. It's a question by Charles Parker. I want you to hit on this too. I'm going to hit on it first. So, how will Matt Patricia be a better DC than Jim Knowles? From what we're hearing is that he's more relatable to the players. The players like him better. He actually genuinely cares about them off the field. Not saying Jim Knowles didn't, but it's a different feel that they have with Matt Patricia. We already know 100% fact that Matt Patricia is a better recruiter than Jim Knowles ever was. Jim Knowles didn't like recruiting, didn't like really interacting with the kids on campus. And you can hear it from the kids that have experienced both in this class. And they'll tell you that we've done several interviews. They said that, come out and said that. He adapts his scheme to the players. And from what we're hearing, and I heard it from several different people, some recruits, some people that are actually in the Woody, this defense is going to be even nastier than last year. People are sleeping on it, But hey, you're gonna see. Obviously, it's normal to have your reservations because you haven't seen it. People keep talking about Matt Patricia in the NFL. They said Bill Belichick was running the defense at New England. That wasn't true. Matt P was calling that defense. And then they want to bring up Detroit Lions. He was a head coach. It's not the same role that he's going to have currently here. And you got to think about the one thing that people are leaving out. The biggest advantage Ohio State has is just the talent advantage over anybody else. And the NFL is very equated. Everybody is good, even the people that are on the practice squad. And college is not like that. The talent equal or not. It's not equal. So that's the biggest thing. And Matt P is a very intelligent man. And we're just hearing phenomenal things from the players about Matt P and how excited they are to kick off this season.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously we have no idea. We haven't seen him, call a game yet, so it's hard to. We don't really know anything. All we know is what we're hearing from the Woody. How excited these players are to play in this defense. How confident they are about what Matt Patricia is doing. The biggest difference between him and Jim Knowles that we can kind of deduce as of right now is the communication between coach to player, right? And how much that Matty P will take the time out of his day to sit down and have conversation with players. And I think that's going to make a big difference because you're talking about a younger team. You just lost a lot of leaders, right? Last year it was almost like a self-moving train with the leaders on this team. You could almost go into the game and, you don't need coaches on the sidelines. Our leaders probably could have held the thing together. But this year, it's a blessing to bring in a player like Matt or a defensive coordinator like Matt Patricia that's going to take the time out to get to know these players because, you need leaders on a football team, the player leaders and the coaches. And if you're going to be a defensive player on this team and you're playing for a coordinator that takes the time out of his day to come and sit down and talk to you, I think it's going to make a big difference, man. But, and again, that's another thing about this is I think it's going to make a difference on the defensive line recruiting as well. We had a list of somebody saying they're holding their breath for a lot of these recruits, and I wanted to go down that list, but I can kind of remember. I mean, there are some. Earlier I felt really good about Felix Ojo. I still feel good. I feel like we're there. If I'm being honest, my confidence level is going down there. Tyler Atkinson, my confidence level is going up. Braylon Womack, my confidence level is a 9.5 out of 10. I don't know. Oh, he's got it right there. Griffin, don't really know too much about, but I can see us landing one of Atkinson or Griffin. But Womack, I think, is probably the one there that I would put most of my money on being a Buckeye. Hopefully we'll get Felix back on this show here soon and kind of gauge where he's at. But just with the dynamics of how things are going, my confidence level is going down, but we're number one or number two team right now. I think that's going to come down to signing day. Speaking of, nope, don't want to go into offensive tackle right now. Staying on the defensive line, Luke Waffle, right? We're in his top 5, okay? In Florida, it was a top 4. Then he changed it to a top 5. Florida just kind of popped up in there. He re-put a list back out and made Florida on that list as well. And to be honest, I'm sitting over here not really thinking we have a big shot at landing this player. But after talking to somebody kind of closer to this recruitment, I think that we do. We have a real good shot at landing this. Penn State is the place that people are expecting. But from where I sit, the information I am getting, Ohio State is right there, and this is an open recruitment. Where his brother plays is not going to have an impact on where he commits. 2 different kind of players here. So we'll see what happens there as well. And again, I have those worries in the defensive line recruiting, but I'm just going to wait and see. I mean, that's all we can do. There's no sense in me sitting here going in on Larry or going in on Ohio State when the finished product is not here yet, right? After the class is signed, then I'll tell you how I feel. You know what I mean? But we're in on some big-time defensive tackles, and there's some big-time defensive ends taking official visits. I'm not sure what else we can do. It's the backup plans behind those guys that we're a little worried about. If we start, we're already seeing defensive tackles. Some of them are committing. Man, how small is this list going to get? And Larry, there is something about the defensive line recruiting that is kind of aggravating, and I want to dive into it a little bit. We just offered the number 1 defensive tackle in the country out of, I think, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, right out of there. I think it has something to do with the Blaine Bradford commitment on our because I just don't see Ohio State going out and making an offer if they don't have a chance whatsoever. You know what I mean? Do you think they would call and be like, hey, is it even worth us offering you at this point in time? Because I was told he was about to commit somewhere, but I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see. The late offers. I mean, even Emmanuel Ruffin, the one out of Alabama that we're in on now, was a very late offer. That's his recruiting style, man. I personally don't think that really works well in today's day and age in recruiting. I don't think it does. I don't, and I think we're seeing the fruits of that. Recruiting has changed. The recruiting strategy has not. And now we're seeing this, but I'm just hoping that Ryan Day has an ace up his sleeve with a little bit more NIL money this year or something that's going to give us that bump. Mello?
Yeah. It's a wait and see. This is just how the D-line recruiting has been under LJ. You have to wait and see. Is there something to them offering the kid out of Baton Rouge? I think so. Like, that's what I'm saying. We don't know the whole ins and outs of what's going on right now, and it's too early to judge. And there's a lot of football. The season hasn't even been played. So I think a lot of stuff will change. And like Dev said, I think we're going to be flipping a lot of people.
Yeah. We brought up Felix Ojo, offensive tackle. He's the number 1 target as far as offensive tackle goes for the Buckeyes. I'm going to get, I think, one of our number 2 right now. The Buckeyes seem to have a lot of momentum here.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be interviewing this gentleman on Tuesday. We've interviewed him before. We're going to interview him again. Aaron Thomas, 6'6", 6'7", 280-pound offensive tackle out of Arizona. His top 5s: Texas A&M, Florida State, Washington, and Ohio State. He's visiting Ohio State May 30th. A lot of people are just assuming Florida State, but he's specifically said in an interview over there on Bucknuts that it is a completely open recruitment right now, right? The decision will come from his visits. And if there's one thing I know about Ohio State, it's that they can put on a show on their visits. So he said the Florida State lean talk out there that's not true. It's all open here. But just wanted to give you guys some information. He's going to be on the show on Tuesday. We'll learn a little bit more information about him. But offensive line, I am not worried about that position. Mello, anything to add there?
Yeah, I thought he told us that the last time he was on too, that it wasn't just Florida State because of the family ties.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'm looking forward to talking to this kid on Tuesday. It's been a while since we talked to him. We could re-engage him and see, get a good feel and a good vibe on what he's thinking. But he's a great kid, just like all the other kids that Ohio State is recruiting. They recruit a type. And you have to be an elite athlete and an elite player, but you also have to have elite character. And normally you can see the character from the foundation of their upbringing from their parents. And it shows to all the recruits in this class, all the commits in this class, they all have that in common, no matter what area of the country they're from. They're all very similar in terms of that. And that's why I think we're on a pathway to be a dynasty right now. I think we're going to be consistent, and not a dynasty in the sense of like how Alabama was just going to natties every single year, because I think that's almost impossible nowadays with the transfer portal and the NIL. But I think we're going to be a player every single year to win a natty.
Yeah, for sure. I see a lot of people talking about Braylon Womack in the chat, man. I encourage you. We've interviewed him twice.
3 times.
We interviewed 3 times, actually. We interviewed Braylon and his family twice. Then we interviewed his dad on Pop's Pod.
Interviewed his mom, their official.
Yeah, it was
Buckeye
everybody.
Boys
So I
family.
encourage you, go watch that interview and you'll get a good vibe. We've been in contact with his dad since then. working on a little something for you guys for the day that he commits. He should be on the Buckeye Boys.
So you could take that however you want, but I mean, the day he's committing, there's a high chance he's coming on our show. So there you go for that.
So we're loving it. It's going to be confident. Anything can happen, but a lot of momentum on the recruiting trail. One of the things that's the question this year is what the heck are we going to do at quarterback, 2026 quarterback? Well, you know, we got Tavian St. Clair in the fold in 25. We got Brady Edmonds in 27. You know, something interesting, Mello, and I need to dive into this and try to get a little more information, is not really seeing too much coming out of a 26 quarterback, but what I am seeing is a lot of offers still going out for 27 quarterbacks, specifically Teddy Jarrett out of Georgia, 6'3", 190. Got the offer to Ohio State. He's like a 200 and some ranked quarterback, but Ohio State really likes him. Billy Fessler went down there and told him his job is to get the best quarterback in the nation into the Buckeyes. So they're having him. He's coming right down to camp, and he is very interested in the Buckeyes. So I am also very interested in this situation, and I'm trying everything I can to figure out, what's the mindset here? Because Brady Edmonds is locked in as far as that's what he said. He's a Buckeye. There's no pulling him away from being the Buckeyes. And I'm telling you, if Brady Edmonds doesn't have a problem with him bringing in another quarterback, that's the kind of quarterback I want on the team. A quarterback that's not afraid of some competition and to get, down and dirty. And you wonder if they are legit going to try to take 27 quarterbacks because of a 26 miss. Doesn't make sense to me, but kind of wondering, what the heck's going on there. Mello, your thoughts on that?
That, man, it's crazy because we didn't talk about this pre-recorded or anything. And I had the same thing when I saw that they offered him, because I looked immediately, is he in the 26 class? I don't know about this kid. I live in Georgia. I haven't heard about him. I'll probably try to check out one of his games if it's in the area. But I'm sitting here like, why are we keep offering 27 kids? You know what I mean? Like, we have Brady Edmonds. He's literally the best kid in the country in the class. So it's something that I was wondering, and that's what I want to pose to you. Do you think that Ohio State well, that might be a possibility.
No, continue what you were saying. I shouldn't have pulled that up. Do you think Ohio State
do you think that Ohio State might be getting a little nervous about Brady Edmonds one way or another?
I don't at all. And I asked somebody about that as well, and I was told not at all. The dude's a lock. I mean, go learn the history of Brady Edmonds. His entire family, his grandpa, huge Buckeye fans. I mean, one of the goals he had on his phone since he was a little kid is be the quarterback at Ohio State. So as long as he keeps doing what he's doing, and he's getting stronger, he's getting better, and he is an elite quarterback. Of course, when he committed, they dropped him down the rankings, but he's the number one quarterback in the 2027 class. Show me somebody else's film, and let's go see what it is. But
and I just to make it clear, I don't feel that way. I feel the exact same way as you. I just know that there's going to be fans out there that are going to be wondering that as well.
Yeah. Thanks, Gio, for $2. He said, I think B. Edmonds could reclassify if possible.
But why?
There you go. Nope.
Shout out to Mama D. Happy anniversary. Tell Dad that we said happy birthday as well. It was Daniel's birthday yesterday.
Dude's a Buckeye, man, but this is Ohio State. I mean, it's Ohio State. They're going to bring in the best, and if they feel like they can get two quarterbacks for competition, that's one thing we know about Ryan Day and this quarterback room. Pretty much any room. I mean, look at the linebackers we just signed, Riley Pettijohn and Tarvos Alford, and they're going after Griffin, Atkinson, Sincere Johnson. And when you start to think about that, think about the crowded room that is, but also think about the competitive nature that would create in that room. That would be ridiculous.
Oh, man.
I mean, ridiculous. It's the same type of, if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, man. And I think that's why Ohio State only recruits certain kids, because that's their philosophy. They're trying every class. They're trying to bring somebody in to take your job. Why? Because that's the real world. Ryan Day wants to train you as a man, get you ready for the NFL, get you ready for the real world. Well, that's the real world.
Yeah.
Nobody gives a dang about your stars or your family or how much money or how tall or how fast in the real world. They care about production, right? So that's not going to matter to them. You know what I mean? Especially in the NFL. I mean, that goes in every single, profession. A boss is always looking. I mean, if an opportunity arises for your boss to hire somebody that's better than you at the same wages or whatever, I'm probably going to do it, man. You know what I mean? So, but that's what makes Ohio State, Ohio State. They bring those kids in that have that mindset. They have that mentality. They have that, dog eat dog mentality where it's a brotherhood, but it's also competitive. It's that tough love where, hey, you're just making me better. Devin Sanchez goes into a room with Aaron Scott, a 5-star. He goes into a room where he knows Iggy's coming back, Jermaine Matthews coming back. Why? Because he wants to be the best corner in the nation. To do that, you got to beat the best corners in the nation. You can't have that title if you're not going up against the best. If you're not beating out the best, how are you going to say you're the best? Jeremiah Smith, best wide receiver in the nation. Why? Because he came into the best wide receiver nation, or the best wide receiver room in the nation, and became the number 1 wide receiver. That is the undisputed best wide receiver in the nation. All these other, people you want to argue whether they're the best or not, man, they came into rooms where, I mean, they were automatically they don't have to beat anybody out. They don't have to do this. I mean, beating Bryson Rodgers out. Bryson Rodgers is not a slouch. He is a big-time wide receiver. He is good. Brandon Ennis, all these players that Jeremiah Smith
best route runners in America.
Yeah.
Period.
So it's Ohio State, man. So when I see them still offering those 27 quarterbacks, think about what that's going to do to Braden Edmonds' mentality. They know him. So I bet you that dude ain't playing. If he wants to be a Buckeye, he's going to make sure that Ohio State knows they made the right decision. You know what I mean? He's just going to watch this year, man. I think Ryan Day and Ohio State, I think they know what they're doing, man. They're bringing that competitive fire out of these kids. And I just remember my competitive fire when I was younger, man. I would have ran through a brick wall. You know what I mean? If Ohio State was looking at me and they were like, yeah, Devin, we'll take you, but you got to beat out these other 4 kids that we've also got an offer to. Well, shoot, man. That's what I'm going to do. That's going to be my number 1 mission. But
let's address this. What Brian from over on X said. We haven't had a lot of success recruiting in the O-line and D-line in recent years. What are your thoughts on that, especially specifically with the O-line?
Well, I get where you're coming from with that. Like, I get it. I had the same sentiment there, but we kind of got proven wrong last year. We kind of got Justin Fry kind of shoved the fan base in a locker with his recruiting. We just won a national title and went 10 deep on the offensive line. And we kept complaining about, but we keep having to go in the portal and all that, but it worked. It's just not the way that we wanted it to work. Why? Because it's different. It's not what we're used to seeing. So we don't know whether that's going to be an equation that equals success or not. Getting some high schoolers, getting some, transfer portal. You don't know if you can find anybody in the transfer portal or not. So you're kind of taking a chance there. It worked. They did it again this year. Why they have to go in the transfer portal again? Because we missed on some recruits on the offensive line out of high school with Justin Fry and his recruiting strategy. But we won a national title with sophomores on the offensive line, sophomores that nobody got super excited, were committed. We didn't have nobody was pumped. Everybody did, including me, was complaining about the classes that he was signing. So, but I get it. I understand what we're saying here. You got to bring those bodies in, and I'll tell you this, it will not happen anymore. Tyler Bowen is bringing bodies in. There will be 5 to 6 offensive linemen committed in this class, and that's just what's going to happen. As far as D-line goes, it's yet to be determined. Last year's class, I'm cool with. I'm cool with it. I really am. What I want to see a Carter Meadows or, that Auburn commit that we were after, big D tackle last year. Yeah, those are the players we're missing on that's making people not so happy. And the numbers the year before that, and the numbers the year before that. So that's where I'm on defensive line. I have a little bit of worry, but I'm not gonna start tripping yet until I see the outcome. He just put, Malik Autry. Thank you, Dylan. He just put 4 defensive linemen in the NFL, right? They got a whole other year of training. So as much as we want to try to judge these defensive tackles, let me tell you something. Will Smith Jr., the defensive tackle position, there's a lot of smoke coming out of the Woody right now about him. There's a lot of smoke. So again, we have to wait and see. Do we have depth at defensive tackle? I don't know. If we do, everybody, Larry Johnson, the Larry Johnson can't recruit talk kind of goes down a little bit, right? If we go out there and Curry and, Jackson tear it up on the end, then it's like, well, I mean, they're doing their job on the field. I know he only signed, 2 recruits that one year, but they're managed to make it work. But I'm not arguing with anybody. I totally understand. I'm not worried about offensive line recruiting anymore at all. And I got proved wrong when I did worry about it. And I'm going to wait and see with the defensive line. This is Ohio State, man.
Of course, we all want those 5 stars. We want the David Sanders. And trust me, I wanted the David Sanders. I went to his commitment. Like, I drove there. I was already in the area for something else, but I drove there. I was there when the kids in his high school were talking trash to me because I was the only one wearing Ohio State gear. Like, I was upset about it. Same thing with, of course, we wanted Jackson Cantwell. But you're talking about supposedly he's getting paid $2.5 million a year. That would make him one of the highest paid offensive linemen in the locker room. So right there, you're already changing the pay scale of how you're going to have to negotiate people that are already established. And then you have to think about it. Is Jackson Cantwell going to get on the field day one over Ethan? I doubt it. Just being honest, I highly doubt it. No. Ethan was projected to be a 2nd or 3rd round draft pick last year if he came out. So now you're talking about you're paying a kid to sit on the bench. He's only going to give you probably 2 years because he'll probably be 2 and out. And that's if he beats the kids that are already on the roster. Development is the main thing. And obviously we were proven wrong by Fry because we were worried when they were talking about rotating the offensive line for the Tennessee game. I never seen it before. And obviously Justin Fry did his thing in terms of developing these players, proved us all wrong. And guess what? All those players are back. Mine is Donnie and Justin Fryer. You got to look at it. Seth was gone for most of the season. Josh Simmons was gone after October 12th. So basically we're returning pretty much everybody. Where you have so much depth on the offensive line is ridiculous. So with that, yes, we're looking at recruiting rankings, star rankings. None of that matters when you get to college. None of it. It's all about development and how much hard work you're going to put in, how much grind you're going to put in. So defensive line, I think they did the right thing. They got Bo. They got the other transfer. What's his name again from
Logan George. Logan George.
Yep, Logan George. So I feel like the D line is going to be really good. Obviously, they're going to have growth. They're going to have to grow, and we're going to have to do a lot of rotation. And I think Coach Day learned his lesson from last season. He's going to rotate, and I truly, firmly believe that.
I'm going to be honest, and I'm speaking for myself. As an Ohio State fan, I kind of get spoiled, man.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say it other than, this is Ohio State. And, we've had a 10 win season for how long? The winningest program in college football in the last 25 years. I mean, so like our expectations are up here. Our expectations are 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars. Like that's what our expectations are. Anything under a national title. And some people weren't even happy with that this year. I mean, literally, dude, us as a fan base, just put yourself in some of these other teams' shoes real fast and see if we complain about our recruiting class then. I mean, good Lord, dude. I mean, that would be ridiculous. But, that's just for me, so I kind of keep myself in check there a little bit as much as I can. Yes, Justin Fry definitely did not do his job all the time on the recruiting trail. But it wasn't as bad as what I thought because the product on the field was what it was, right? So Larry Johnson, the product he put on the field last year, won us a national title and put 4 defensive linemen in the NFL. So what we're doing when we complain about defensive line recruiting is projecting that we're not going to have a good defensive line. If you project and you say, hey, I think our defensive line is going to be really good, then we can't complain about recruiting because whatever they're doing is working. They're getting the job done. They're getting it figured out. There's 2 sides to this thing, though, so don't hate me. Don't yell at me and pull up. Trust me, I have all the information about every class, every recruit, who did he miss, who flipped, who this, who that, how many times does he talk to him. I have all that. So I understand both sides of this, but I'm saying, is our complaint about defensive line recruiting justified if we haven't even seen them play a snap of football yet? The reality of that is no, it's not. We can project that we're not going to have good depth at defensive tackle because Larry Johnson missed on the recruiting trail. We can project that, missing on these star defensive ends is going to really put us in a bind, but we don't know. So I mean, that's just, you can't argue that. Can you argue that? I mean, somebody tell me. Can chat? Am I wrong?
You can't really argue with the
here?
GOAT one way or another. We might not like his recruiting process, but I mean, dude, you know how many people? There's not a D-line coach in the country that's put more players in the NFL. And if he wants you, there's a reason. He offered JJ because from the same thing we saw in the film. He's a space eater. He's going to command a double team, especially if you think about a year in the program and the get Coach Mick on him. Like, how are you going to guard? You can't block him one-on-one, right? So he's ranked in like the thousands or something ridiculous that doesn't make any sense. But do you think those analysts know more than LJ? No, they don't. So at the end of the day, we're going to be fine. I'm telling you, the defensive line is going to be surprisingly good. You will see. Just remain positive. If it wasn't, Coach Day would have went even harder in the portal. What's up?
Think about the situation we're in as Ohio State fans, man. Just won a national title. We have the best receiver that's probably ever going to play the game of
Facts.
College football.
Stay healthy.
We have the best defensive player, a defensive player that's, if he continues on this trajectory, is going to be talked about as one of the best safeties to ever play in college football, probably the NFL as well.
Yep.
You got Sonny Styles, Arvell Reese, Tarvis Alfred, Riley Pettijohn, Devin Sanchez, Carter Lowe, Carson Hensman,
Peyton Pierce, Eli Lee.
Absolute. I mean, we are just flooded with 5 and 4 stars already all over the place, man. This team is absolutely stacked. And when that happens, you expect every position group to be like the wide receivers. You know what I mean? When we see what Brian Hartline does, we're like, okay, it can be done. It's Ohio State. Come on, coaches. Come on. You know what I mean? Is that reality? I don't know. One's always going to outdo the other one. But, again, I get it. I promise you guys, I understand the worry about defensive line recruiting and all that stuff. I just say, relax a little bit, and let's wait and see, because that's really the only thing that matters, right? Why do we care about recruiting? Because we want to win football games. Therefore, if we win football games, why were we worried about recruiting? Whatever they're doing, they got the job done. It works. So we're going to have to wait and see, number one, till signing day. And even then, we can make our assumptions all we want, but you have no idea how Jake Cook's going to turn out. As of right now, Jake Cook is ahead of every offensive lineman that got signed in the class, yet he was the lowest ranked offensive lineman in the class. He's in the 2 deep already. You know what I'm saying? So, even then, man, you can't. Jarquez Carter. I mean, shoot, bro. I think that dude might play like a 5-star. You know what I'm saying? So, dude, these stars, they get to me too. I promise you guys, they get to me too, man. When I see them, because I'm competitive, because it's Ohio State, I just want the best. I want to win the #1 recruiting class. I just do. But doesn't matter if we win the #1 recruiting class or not, if we're winning national titles? No.
Right.
We could sign the 30th class in the nation, win a national title. Does the 30th class matter? No, it doesn't. We win a national title. But I'm sure people are going to pick my little rant apart. I can pick myself apart with it. But
this is a good question. Why do y'all think Atkinson has not posted his official visits and it's May? Truthfully, we don't have any inside information on this. But personally, what I think it's two teams, really. I think it's UGA or Ohio State that are really in it. And I wouldn't be shocked if Tyler really already knows where he's going. Plus, he has a busy schedule in terms of what he's doing off the field. He is a brand ambassador for Adidas. His team is projected to go back-to-back and win the state championship as well, and he's very locked in on that. So there could be numerous of reasons. But I really, when it comes down to it, I think it's between two teams, UGA and Ohio State.
Yeah, I don't know why he wouldn't put it out other than he doesn't need to. I mean, he's the best linebacker in the nation. He can do what he wants.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
You know,
so he's generational. For real.
I think
he's really generational.
Yeah. I think he's just about his business, man, about playing football. So, I mean, he might know when he's going to visit the teams, and the teams are going to know when he's coming to visit. That's all that really matters. You know what I mean? We just love it. Trust me, I love the information side of recruiting. It's kind of addicting, but again, I'm aware, kind of wrapping up a little bit here, that compared to all the other position groups, defensive line is behind. I'm aware of that. Okay, so trust me, I am, but we'll see. I love the momentum that Ohio State has right now and everything that Ryan Day did in the offseason, so I guess take a moment and get a piece of paper out. Just start writing down the players that Ohio State has on the roster, and you'll probably start feeling a little bit better about where we're at. So, Mello, you got any final words or any final thoughts before we ask trivia and get this thing wrapped up?
Hey, keep your head up, man. This is Ohio State. We're coming off a natty. We need to beat the team up north this year, and just pray for good health, because we have the talent, we have the coaches to run it back. I know it seems daunting. It's very difficult to run it back, but we definitely have the staff to run it back. We have the players to run it back, and don't be surprised if we do. Just pray for good health.
Elite Sport Talking wants to know if we're going to be on the Caden Dixon Wyatt interview tomorrow with Nevada and Kirk. No, we will not be, but Caden Dixon Wyatt, we're setting one up sometime after that. So hopefully he'll be on our channel as well. We have Epi Citinelli coming back on the show tomorrow at 6, streaming on Buckeye Scoop. Defensive end, committed to the Buckeyes. He's not an early enrollee. So he's heading down there very shortly. We're going to get him on, get some updates about him. Speaking of defensive line recruiting, that's what recruits get excited about, man. I've been in contact with him and his dad. He is not playing this offseason, man. He is working his tail off. I've seen some training videos and whatnot. So he's somebody to get extremely excited about. This question I'm about to ask for trivia is going to be worth 4 points.
4
It's
points.
going to be worth
Let's
4
get it.
points. If you do not know what you win with trivia, it is a ticket to the Washington game. You have to cover airfare. You have to cover hotel and food. I'm only supplying the ticket. Buckeye Boys is only supplying the ticket. You might ask, how do the Buckeye Boys, how can they give away a ticket? Well, we are saving what we make off this channel, which is, it's going to take us 10 months to save up to buy a Washington ticket. But we're telling you guys, everything goes back into this channel. We're telling you that because it's the truth. Everything goes back into this channel. We're probably also about to have some serious upticks, man. I think I'm going to I'm definitely going to the 7-on-7 national title.
Let them know.
Games this year. And the hope is that I'll be on the SFE sideline, kind of supporting them, and hopefully in some way, shape, or form being a part of SFE. That's kind of in the works a little bit there. So we'll see, man. God is good. You never know what will happen there. So it's going to be a good time. But here we go with the 4-point question. Are you ready?
Yes.
Everybody's going to know this one. So get to typing fingers ready. It's worth 4 points. Against whom was Woody Hayes' last game as an Ohio State coach? Against whom was Woody Hayes' last game? The natural coming through with it.
That was quick. He got 4 points.
Yeah,
He's up there already.
I knew it. Yeah, I know he was. Dang, he's tied now. Natural's tied with Steely with 10.
Oh, wow.
Look, everybody, a lot of people knew it, man.
Yep.
Hey, by the way, again, help us grow this channel because we're serious. This channel is about giving you guys information. We're working really hard on getting more sources. It's beautiful what the Lord is doing with our channel, man. We like to glorify Jesus and everything that he's done in our life. And we like to talk about football and recruiting. So we're working our tails off over here, building relationships up so we can get some more information about recruiting because I hate the recruiting industry and how it makes recruits look, how it makes schools look. And I just want to be raw with the recruiting. I want you guys to hear from the recruits themselves, interviews, so you get to know who they are. That way, if somebody puts out, an article stating that this kid is all about money and just playing this and that, you can fall back on the interview and make your own opinion on whether that's true or not, because these are young men trying to, succeed in life. Life's hard enough as it is. They don't need false accusations going out there about their morals or about who they are, what their character is. So we're trying to change that, man. So the more you guys help us, the more subscribers, the more views. Become a member if you haven't, man. The super chats. We don't do this for income. It all gets poured back into the channel. I want to give away 2 or 3 tickets to the Washington game, right? I want first, second, and third place to all take tickets home. If our views go up, and subscriptions go up and we have the money to do it, that's what we're going to do. So, help us get this thing boosted up a little bit. We're over there on Buckeye Scoop every Monday and Thursday at 6. That's really helping with getting our name out there and stuff. So we just want to be a little bit different than most of the podcasts that you see out there, and kind of like take over the recruiting thing a little bit as far as Ohio State recruiting goes. And we want to give back. We want you guys to enjoy the channel and enjoy the fruits of this. So again, if you're not a member, it's only $2. It's never going to be more than that. It's always going to be $2. What does that get you? It's essentially just supporting the channel, but it gets put back into, it's kind of like a raffle drawing. You know what I mean? You're putting into it a little bit, and that allows us to have prizes and bigger prizes and bigger prizes. You know what I mean? So the more money, the more prizes that get given away on this channel. So please help us out with doing that. And also, we're a fan channel. If you guys ever want to come on here and talk football with us, we are not better than you guys. We are just like you guys during the chat. We're not smarter than you. We're nothing, man. We were you a year and a half ago. I promise. The only thing that's changed, we might know a little more people now, just because our face is on here. That's what we're passionate about. So we dive into this thing. We've got some sources now and some people that can help us out with the information that we give you guys. So Mello, any final thoughts or statements?
What's up, Pam? Yeah, exactly what he said. We just want to give back. That's all it is. We want to bring some of you guys to the games. We want to be different from the other podcasts that you might go and visit. And our main thing is just letting you guys know the recruits and judge for yourself, because you see articles like Chris Henry's on Flip Watch. Caden Dixon-Wyatt is going to Oregon, stuff like that. And it's like, you can hear from these players themselves directly and understand. Some of you guys are worried about Braylon Womack. Go watch the 3 previous interviews that we had with Braylon Womack on the Buckeye Boys channel, and you might not be as skeptical about him committing. So that's all. That's what we want to do. We want to bring you guys information. And Dev, we got to get back to dropping the stream in the chat again. And for all those people watching on X, we only dropped the stream on the YouTube. So if you want to come on with us and have a conversation up here, we'll get back to it. You're going to have to watch us on YouTube in order to be a part of that.
Yeah, for sure. If you're watching us on X, go over to YouTube, man. And if you can hear me, hit that like button for us too. I guess that helps with our YouTube algorithm and gets our video like moved up on top for people to watch. So hit the like button, man. If you're watching this, hit the like button. A lot of people don't watch till the end, so they don't hear me say that.
I'm sorry, I got to put this up there, bro.
Oh, wishy-washy dad, man. Yeah, for sure. I was wishy-washy today. I said I'm worried about D-line recruiting. I'm not worried about D-line recruiting. Fire Larry Johnson. Larry Johnson's the GOAT. We're going to win a natty. We're going to lose 6 games. Dude, I'm all over. That way, you know why I do that? Because then I'm never wrong. You know, if I say everything, then it's like, hey, I got it right. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
If I forecast every recruit the Buckeyes offer to the Buckeyes, I'm going to get some right. You know what I mean?
And positivity spreads fast. It's good to stay positive, man.
Yeah, for sure. Now, Charles said we'd end the show at the intro. I'm going to be ending the show with clips that I took from the playoff games last year. So you probably already saw this one, but every week I'll change it up. I'll put a new one on here shortly. But on that note, we appreciate you guys. We love you guys. Go Buckeyes. OH.
Hit that like button. IO.